Member Hontiveros, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My dear colleagues in this august body, fellow public servants, friends from the media, fellow Cebuanos who are watching the live stream of this session, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon. I rise today on a matter of personal and collective privilege regarding matters of utmost concern to our beloved Cebu City. Madam Chair, the United Nations has already recognized that access to clean, potable, and affordable water is a human right. This right is fundamental to everyone's health, dignity, and prosperity. It is for this purpose, Madam Chair, that I took the courage to express my sentiment regarding the issue surrounding the Metropolitan Cebu Water District with only one thing in mind, the best interests of the Cebu City residents. First of all, Madam Chair, I want to emphasize that Cebu City is already in a critical stage of a water crisis. This assessment comes directly from Mr. Virgilio Espeleta, Director of University of San Carlos Water Resources Center, as expressed during the Water Summit at Bay Hotel in March of this year. In fact, the MCWD itself revealed that the city has a supply deficit of about 250 million liters per day. Madam Chair, several factors contribute to this deficit, including the escalating demands from the consuming public, the impact of the El Nino phenomenon, the increasing costs associated with developing new water supply sources. However, what particularly grabbed my attention, Madam Chair, is the COA audit report for the years 2020, 2021, and 2022. This report exposes the truth of MCWD's persistently high non-revenue water in its failure to address the issue effectively. This failure results in an annual loss of MCWD revenue averaging at least 117 million pesos. What exactly is non-revenue water, and why does it demand an urgent attention? According to the Asian Development Bank report, a non-revenue water is the difference between the amount of water put into the distribution system and the amount of water billed to consumers. Simply put, non-revenue water is water that has been produced but is lost before it reaches the customer. This is due to pipe leaks, contamination, and other issues. High levels of NRW are detrimental to the financial viability of water utilities, as well to the quality of water itself. That is why the LOA promulgated Memorandum Circular Number 2010-004 Series of 2010, which mandates that the acceptable non-revenue water level of water facilities should be 20% maximum. Unfortunately, Madam Chair, the NRW of the MCWD is high compared to this standard. As per COA report, reported August 28 of this year, the non-revenue water for MCWD in 2020 stood at 25.26%, resulting in the loss of 20.034 million cubic meters. Alarming progression is evident in 2021, with a surge to 29.04% or 24.542 million cubic meters lost, further increasing in 2022 at 32.67%. Although no 2023 data is available, the discernible trend indicates a continuous increase, Madam Chair. This substantial NRW percentage significantly contributes to the water supply shortage experienced in Cebu City. But let me ask this question, Madam Chair. How has the MCWD addressed the problem? Unfortunately, instead of fixing the high NRW, the MCWD has aggressively pursued several joint venture agreements for desalination facilities, which brings me to my second point. Madam Chair, with all due respect to the Board of Directors of the MCWD, the current joint venture agreements entered into by the MCWD to three desalination bulk water projects, namely Cebu City South Desalinated Seawater Project, Marigondon, and Canjula Bulk Water Supply, are not for the best interest of Cebu City for the following reasons. First, it will increase the current water rates to at least 70 to 75%. According to one of the Board of Directors of MCWD, these projects alone would require MCWD to pay the staggering amount of almost 66 billion pesos over a period of 29 years from 2025 to 2054. This translates to the cost of almost 2.3 billion pesos per year. How can the MCWD possibly pay such amounts? The answer is obvious. The burden of this will inevitably be passed on to the end consumers, resulting in a very sure increase of water rates. Second, with regard to these three desalination facilities, Madam Chair, the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel issued a negative legal opinion disapproving the draft joint venture agreements for the above-mentioned companies, calling it detrimental to government and public service in violation of the Republic Act 3019 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. Thus, according to Government Corporate Counsel Rogelio Quevedo, MCWD's board's approval of the conduct of proceedings and awarding of the GVAs to the proponents, as well as to the Joint Venture Selection Committee members, recommending of the project's approval were highly irregular and grossly inexcusable, tantamount to bad faith. Attorney Quevedo accused MCWD of masquerading the projects as joint venture agreements when he said that the said projects were just pure and simple water supply purchase agreements, which the MCWD should have entered through the more tedious and exacting process of public bidding. These GVAs, as highlighted by the negative legal opinion, the OGCC, point to a gross violation of ethical conduct in public procurement. For me, this is a betrayal of public trust that has potential ramifications for our citizens' access to clean and affordable water. Thus, they require a thorough investigation to ascertain the extent of the breaches and to hold those responsible for jeopardizing the integrity of public procurement. My third point, Madam Chair, pertains to the authority of the Cebu City Mayor to remove and discipline members of the Board of Directors of the MCWD. While I may not possess legal expertise, I am cognizant of the ruling from RTC Branch 17 of Cebu City, which affirmed this authority and upheld the late Mayor Labelia's decision to remove certain members of the MCWD Board. If the late Mayor Labelia possessed the authority to dismiss members of the MCWD Board, it logically follows that our present Mayor, Mayor Michael Rama, holds the same power. Indeed, this authority was exercised on October 31, 2023, when he appointed a new chairman for MCWD along with 2 additional board members. Madam Chair, I believe that the City Mayor's action in appointing a new MCWD board is not arbitrary or malicious. I believe that the Office of the Mayor conducted a thorough investigation prompting the subsequent action. It is not merely a symbolic gesture, rather it signifies a commitment to uphold accountability without fear or favor. Lastly, Madam Chair, my fourth and final point underscores the gravity of the situation at the MCWD as highlighted by the issuance of Board Resolution Number 35, Series of 2023 by the LOA. This resolution seeks for LOA's partial intervention in MCWD for a period of 6 months. LOA's partial intervention in MCWD through resignation and or appointment of an interim board of directors comes in the wake of MCWD's default on financial obligations, collection inefficiency, hiring irregularities cited in the COA calendar year 2022 audit, the high non-revenue water percentage according to COA reports, negative legal opinion by the OGC regarding the alleged joint venture agreements, and strained relations and irreconcilable posture between the LGU and MCWD. Unfortunately, Madam Chair, Board Resolution Number 35 issued by LOA has yet to see implementation as it has been thwarted by unforeseen influences. However, my essential point, Madam Chair, is that LOA's intervention itself underscores the profound challenges confronting our MCWD, issues that demand serious consideration. The urgency of this matter cannot be overstated. We are not just delving into financial figures, we are deliberating the lifeblood of our city, the water that sustains our homes, businesses, and institutions. In light of the foregoing, I move for the approval of the following resolutions. I move to note this privileged speech.
It has been moved and seconded by Member Safra. Discussion, objection, hearing none, motion carried. Member Hontiveros.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll say it again, my resolution amending to express support of the action taken by the Cebu City Mayor Michael Rama in appointing 3 new members of the Board of Directors of MCWD. So moved.
Seconded by Member Archival. Discussion, objection, hearing none, motion as amended, hereby carried.
Third resolution to request the Office of Honorable Eduardo Rama Jr. and the Office of Honorable Rachel Q.T. Del Mar to initiate a congressional inquiry in aid of legislation regarding the issues surrounding the MCWD. So moved, Madam Chair.
Seconded by Member Guardo. Discussion, objection, hearing none, motion carried.
Fourth, resolution to strongly urge the MCWD board to find ways to solve the high non-revenue water problem and not change the revenue loss to the consumers. So move, Madam Chair. Not charge this revenue loss to the consumers. So move, Madam Chair.
There's a motion by Member Hontiveros, seconded by Member Osmeña. Discussion, objection, hearing none, motion carried.
Lastly, to request the City Secretariat to furnish copy of this resolution to the Office of the Cebu City Mayor, Office of Honorable Eduardo Rama Jr., and Office of Honorable Rachel Margaret Cutie Dilmar for information and guidance. So move, Madam Chair.
There's a motion by Member Hontiveros, seconded by Member Hacosalem. Discussion, objection, hearing none, motion carried.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank
At
you,
this
fellow
junction,
councilors.
I would like to return the seat to Honorable Hontiveros.
Thank you, Majority Floor Leader.